Okay, folks, here we go. I know this is your last one of the year. You may not even be in today because you're all gone home. You won't want to be around, but you can watch this at any time. Look, a few things that we need to get right is the quality of shots, because there are some poor shots here and you are panning all over the place, and the editorial strength of your stories. There's a lot of soft stuff here, and it's great having a bit of Christmas fluff, but we need to find some more hard-hitting stories, and even in the soft stories they still need to have some editorial value and think of a reason why you're doing it. And also, whoever's editing this program, you have to look at the overview of this bulletin and see how much there is of Christmas and how many similar lines there are. And some of the scripting is quite good and some of it is very, very samey. We've had Christmas starting about 4 or 5 times in different stories. We've had the official start on this story or that story. So we've got to be very careful as an overview, because when we look at it as a viewer from outside, we think there's no cohesion within the whole look of the bulletin. Let's get going.
Misleading campaigning methods. Can people trust the political parties? University strikes across the country hit students hard. Lighting up the night sky with the Winchester Lantern Parade.
Got to be careful with that. Just that last shot, you've got a shot change right at the end there, and then consequently the shot we see before we see you, Emily, is very, very short indeed. So you just got to be careful with that. But otherwise, there's some decent headlines there. We're starting to get, you think, okay, this will be quite a good bulletin. And then obviously as we develop, we've got some issues, but that's not a bad start.
Good afternoon and welcome to Winchester News Online. I'm Emily Wilson. With the general election...
Okay, this is the first thing. Emily, you probably wrote a lot of these links. But you needed help with them because there are so many stories and it's such a long bulletin. But I counted with the 1, 2, 3, certainly 3 times you started with the, which is never a way we do it. And I think there's one piece to camera that has got with the at the start of it. So we need to remove that as a line for a link, okay? Just delete with the. We never say it really in real life, and it's just an anomaly that it suddenly comes up in as a link into our stories. So remove with the as the opening 2 words. I don't want to hear that. And the other one that we'll see in a minute is I'm here at, and I think we've got 4 occasions of that, okay? So there could be 4 occasions of I'm here at. We're going to ban that as well. And also in the link, one other thing while I'm at it, it's we sent our reporter, whoever, to find out more. I think we've got that 3 or 4 times. So I think probably, Emily, if you were writing all these and you are having to write 10 links, had a little panic on, reporters have got to help and write a link themselves. But we'll have to work on that because they're poor links at the moment.
It's around the corner. Parties are using different campaigning methods to gain votes across the country. I spoke to some of Winchester's candidates.
Don't worry, you didn't panic. You probably felt really, really uncomfortable. Auto cue wasn't working. So why do you always see presenters with a script in their hand? When you watch the 6 o'clock news from the BBC, sometimes the 10 o'clock as well, when they walk beside the big screen, they've all got a script in their hand because If autocue fails, they've got something to fall back on. And while it's a really nice shot with you there in front of the cathedral and you looking good on camera, what you haven't got is a script to fall back on. So if that autocue fails, you are absolutely stranded. So you need to have a script there.
Do you like a poster for your window?
Yeah, go on.
Because it all
Because I've
helps.
got a Tory Labour up there and we'll wind him up, so I'm pleased with that.
Yeah. The Conservatives have held on to...
See, that's a really nice opening, but then that's a Lib Dem candidate. But then you go on to the Conservatives and start explaining. So I get a little bit lost, and I think this is the case on a few stories. I get lost on the story because you're not quite linking everything up and talking about it in making sure the narrative goes through the piece. A little bit jumbled in people's thinking.
seat in Winchester for nearly 10 years, but before that it used to be a safe Lib Dem seat. The party's Brexit policies could change everything. The Conservatives want Brexit, but the Liberal Democrats are promising to stop Brexit. It looks like it's going to be overwhelmingly close here. A YouGov poll has predicted that 46% of people in Winchester will vote for the Conservatives, while 44% will vote for the Lib Dems. In 2017, the poll was accurate. But recently, the Conservatives sparked outrage when they set up a fact-checking page on Twitter, which the public and Twitter themselves said was misleading. So I spoke to Winchester's Tory candidate, Steve Bryan, about what he thinks of his party's campaigning methods.
Now, to think that you've done that all as a piece to camera, really, and covered it, is really, really good. So from that point of view, Emily, well done. There's loads of information there and really well explained. That's more like it.
So I've done 12 years as candidate or MP in this constituency. I've never done one single bit of negative campaigning in that time. I don't intend to start now. I think stuff like that is silly and childish. It's not my style. It's not how I roll. Never has been, never will be. And I've made that very clear to the party chairman.
See, that's good. I was just thinking about why it's so low. And there's another piece where everything is very low. Maybe yours, Marlon. Just set the camera up higher, unless it's really stylised and they're all going to be low for a reason.
The Lib Dem candidate, gave her opinion on the matter.
I mean, it actually makes me really...
See, when you say gave her opinion on the matter, anybody you speak to gives their opinion on the matter. So you don't need to say that. You would say the Liberal Democrat candidate is vehemently against this type of campaigning and then go into her, rather than she gives her opinion. That's what people do when you speak to them.
That we have one of our main political parties
Really nicely framed, this, though. It's a good shot.
that would try and, I don't know, disguise what they're doing, which would be trying to misinform the public.
Members of the public don't seem too impressed.
Misinformation is just wrong, that's all I think. So if it's not right, then it's not right.
It's false advertising.
Just be careful about this. You've got two people in exactly the same place. Look, if you look at her, they're both looking the same way, and the backdrop's more or less the same, so it doesn't look that good. See, it's like a jump cut, and this man suddenly comes in and suddenly comes out, okay? Or vice versa.
Then the minute they get in, they don't go through their promises or nothing like that. This is the 1 year I'm not voting.
Well, I suppose all parties use different...
Again, same backdrop, so that's okay, but you've changed the eye line. So now he's looking at this side of camera, so that's fine, where previously they were looking at that side of camera. So try and alternate your vox pops.
in order to gain the majority.
Pretty difficult for people to keep up to date with.
Again, that works, you see,
In order
because there.
To be
The majority.
She's looking that way, coming over this side, and he's over that side. So that works, even though you've got the same backdrop, but you should just swing it around slightly so you've got different backgrounds for your interviewees.
doing things like that. It's not cool, is it?
Candidates will be working hard to try and swing the vote in their favour before the 12th of December. Emily Wilson, Winchester News Online.
Now, there's a really important thing here that we'd be in trouble for, because we're not representing all the candidates. And when you go into a constituency, and you are specifically doing a constituency, and this was Winchester, then you have to make a note of all the candidates who are standing. Look at this. I don't know how much of this is going to be in shot actually, so if I just move it over here. Any constituency or electoral area report discussion after the close of nominations must include a list of all candidates standing, giving first names, surnames, and the name of the party they represent. Okay, so that's a really important thing that you must do, and we've missed out there, and it is actually illegal. So Ofcom would definitely complain about this piece because we haven't given a fair representation of who is standing, and you have to do that. If you tried to talk to the Labour candidate and they wouldn't do it, then that is fine. But you really, really must include a list of all those candidates who are standing in Winchester. That's really important.
International students are uncertain about their future after Brexit. Some students worry that they are not welcome in the UK. Victoria Darlan reports.
That's a better opening.
The deadline for Brexit is getting closer. It is still unclear what will happen to international students in the UK. At the University of Winchester, international students are raising concerns as to how their lives will be affected by Brexit.
Just be careful with these shots, Victoria. You've gone from left to right on one pan and you're doing right to left on this next pan. It's just a bit busy and a bit clumsy.
With my family living.
I also think she should have a name, and then underneath that name you say student from Lebanon. I think we can personalise this, even though it's sort of a branding, but I still think they're a person as well.
All over is going to be quite difficult for us, and for us to go home.
And that we need to find a different way of using a cutaway, because that's just a little bit clumsy, okay, in between her grabs.
See our parents, to travel out of the country, then to come back in. I worry that we're going to need visas.
We are part of the Erasmus generation, so we had the
Same
opportunity
thing
to
here.
travel to study abroad, and I'm not sure this is going to happen in the future. But I am never sure when I speak with someone if I'm welcome.
I'm here in Winchester as an Erasmus student, so I definitely think that Brexit will affect me. I get paid the Erasmus loan, and I doubt that this will continue when Brexit is done.
Okay, again, some slightly strange cutaways. It's always very difficult to know what to do to put in a cutaway, but think about getting a reverse angle shot, a shot of you doing a noddy, something like that to break away from some of the more difficult cutaways that you've had there. This is a good intro shot. This is absolutely fine.
Maybe future policies making it harder for foreigners to study in the United Kingdom.
I would say it's a bit chaotic in a way, since Brexit has been going on since I started uni, which was like 3 years ago now, and it's like constantly been postponed. So I'm like, what will happen with future students? Will they be able to continue studying here, or do they have to pay more fees?
Again, you've just popped in, you popped out, she's in there, then you go back to her. So just a little too much cutaway going on.
It's uncertainty of it all that kind of makes people a bit like worried.
Currently, the UK is the world's second most popular study abroad destination.
And I like the fact that you've just covered the front of your piece to camera. That's very good. So you've had a really good snapshot of some of the students. I like that. I think what we could get is a line from the university, an official line, or even what the government has said about EU students or overseas students in the future, just to legitimise and contextualise all this a little bit more.
That may change following a no-deal Brexit. What students can do now is to sit and wait. The true impact will not become clear until the UK has officially exited the EU.
Just try and keep your eyes on the camera. That's the same for everybody. And also, just something really simple. This wire is really ugly. Just put it inside, unzip, put it inside, and then just have this bit coming out, rather than you seeing the lead coming all the way down there. Something really simple just to tidy yourself up.
Victoria Darlan, Winchester News Online.
A Winchester shop wants to transform the city's nightlife. 1999 Vintage hopes to open itself up as an event space and hold exclusive events such as boiler rooms. Alex Smith reports.
Not bad. I think we understand what's going on here. Just a little bit too long on this shot, I think, Alex.
I'm here in Winchester Student Union.
I'm here. I missed that one. So that's another one. I'm here. So I think that's 5. Right, that's the first one. I'm here at. Here we go. Counting now.
Good nights out. But it seems the sleepy English city could do with a few more sleepless nights.
That the sound is strange on this one because you haven't got a personal. You might be working on a camera mic there. I'm not sure this piece to camera makes sense because if it was busy and it was part of the nightlife, then maybe. But the fact that it's empty, I'm not quite sure it works. Although you try to work on a cutaway there that does, it's sort of a mini sequence, and that's okay.
1999 Vintage opened up earlier this year in the Brooks Shopping Centre, and they believe that they may be able to inject a little bit of energy into the Winchester nightlife.
Obviously this is a vintage store and we're only kind of selling clothes and accessories at the moment, but we're looking to turn it into an event space.
There's some very strong interviewees on this. These guys are very good.
Attention at the moment. I felt we need to come away from London, go to some smaller cities where universities are, and they can start thriving with a bit of a music and clothing scene.
Youth culture has always been a massive part of university, but allowing it to thrive is a difficult task. I wonder, how could you achieve this?
Cool, so more specifically in terms of music events, we're hoping to have like a boiler room, which is a concentrated list.
That's a little bit strange, having a pan like that with his head down the bottom.
Party for up and coming, like, well, for us it'll be like rap artists, grime artists, some groups, just in this event space here. It will be kind of like an invite thing, but we're also going to get as many creative people as possibly can to come together and kind of enjoy the space as a whole.
Really good interviewee.
And closer to Christmas, and the nights are getting colder, but that won't stop the students from going out. Do they think that Winchester simply needs more?
I like the style of your voiceover, actually, Alex. Here, I think it's nice. It's a nice tone to it, and very good intonation and feel about this.
There's like one club and one bar, I think. I haven't been many times, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I do think it does, compared to where I live back in Reading.
Yes, there's only one club at the moment called Vodka Town, but there are other things that people can do.
Looks like there's definitely a market for it.
Yeah, that was really rushed piece of voiceover, and I think there's a tiny black hole in there as well. Make sure you got the room, okay? Do it again, re-edit, because that isn't right.
Also, an event like that could then draw more attention to the store. There's kind of a cross section. They kind of come hand in hand, these sort of cultures, I suppose, especially like boiler room, rap culture. We have rap tees, for example, a couple of 2-packs up there. I think, bringing those two sort of cultures together creates a bit of a vibe in the store, and that can only be bring more custom to us, I suppose.
Well, it looks like that we can only wait and see. Alex Smith, Winchester News Online.
Alex, again, I really like the tone of your voice. It is good. Look at the end here. I've stopped it, and I'm not sure you've actually finished your voiceover. So your voice hasn't even covered the pictures that are there. So you must lay your pictures long. We can't have this black hole. And please, another bugbear of mine is wait and see. You could almost say that about any story. Wait and see. We'll see. What's going to happen? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. What's going to happen with the election? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. What's happening with Brexit? Oh, we'll just have to wait and see. What's happening with the university lecturers and their strike? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. So you see, you can say it about everything. So let's try and not use that as a phrase.
With the London
There you are, number 2, with the. Okay, let's try and get rid of that.
terror attack fresh in our minds, and thousands of people coming into Winchester for the Christmas markets, our reporter Tyrone McPherson asked people in the city if they feel safe.
It's a legitimate story, I think. So I am expecting to see some sort of security measures around the Christmas market.
This train will not be stopping at the next station.
One of London's busiest stations, completely empty during rush hour.
But we can't see it. It's a closed door. That doesn't quite explain it, Tyrone, what's going on.
Clear indication that something devastating and brutal had yet again taken place in the capital.
And whose are those pictures? We have to credit them. Are they yours? If they're yours, credit them to yourself. I think you can, because we need to know who those pictures are from. But at the moment, I'm failing to see the relevance. The important thing is how this affects Winchester. So we need the Winchester angle first, and then you can reflect what's going on in London, rather than the other way around.
I'm in the south of England.
Ah.
Winchester.
I'm here at. Okay, that's number 2.
We're asking people if they feel safe at one of the city's biggest Christmas attractions, the Christmas market.
Okay, why are you not at the Christmas market? We're not really close to it at the moment. And then we've just put that man in where you were. Look at that. See? So that doesn't work as an edit.
We have to make sure that we don't allow ourselves to be kind and we just go about our daily business.
But yeah, the streets of Winchester are pretty safe anyway, really, to be honest.
Yes, I do. Because I feel like most of it's going on in London.
I'm Tyrone McPherson, reporting from the WINOL News Centre.
So Tyrone, WINOL News Centre, wow, we've never had that before. So we've got some issues here, because ultimately you have to think about this story. It's about security at the Winchester Christmas market. We've not seen any of the Christmas market. We've not seen any security measures. And we've seen more of London than we have of Winchester. So there's a big issue there. So it's all about, in the telling of the story, you have to stand back and think about what this story is all about. And then you realise, hang on, I should be shooting at least some shots of the Christmas market, and we haven't got anything. And that is the subject of your story.
Veganism has increased by 300% in the UK in the last 5 years, and new vegan festivals are sweeping the nation. We sent our reporter, Ellie Clout, to go and enjoy all the latest products.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think we still need harder angles, but okay. Nice nat shot to start. And a lot of you have used this, so thank you to everyone who used just a bit of a nat shot at the beginning.
Do you think you can make that sound?
So I'm here in Portsmouth.
Oh, there we go. Number 3, I'm here. However, Ellie, on this one, I think you might get away with it, because this is sort of gonzo style reporting, because you're going in and experiencing everything. So I might let you get away with this one.
Festival today, and I've just gone in and picked up my goodie bag, which has got lots of free vegan treats in there.
Tell us what they are. Maybe you can take them out and go, oh, look, I've got this, I've got that.
And I'm just about to go inside and see.
Try and look at the camera a little bit more. I know you're really relaxed in front of camera, which is really, really good. But try and keep our attention.
What there is to offer, really.
With 35% of Brits now having meat-free meals each week, it's no surprise veganism is a growing life choice. And the word is now spreading about plant-based diets faster than ever.
Good mix of shots.
We know that if we have a plant-based diet, we don't need so much land, we don't need so much water, we don't need so much energy. It's going to cause so much less pollution. Come on, we can do it. We've got to help people.
Just everyone sort of learning more about the planet, sort of planet we live on now, what they can do to try and
Just be careful with your balancing here. It's very hot.
sort of save it, really.
Social media actually
And this one, she's hot again. You need another white balance in there.
has its benefits, because I think more people are becoming educated through people sharing information about what actually happens.
And with so many products on offer,
And nice that you've brought this music back in.
of course I had to try some.
This is.
Of course you do. And what would be nice here, I reckon, just what I would have done is I would have tasted about 10 different things and said, this is, okay, you've done it. Hemp toffee. You've got, tofu ginger muffins, whatever it might be. Go through 8, 10 things and go, oh, that's nice. Oh, look, that's a little bit different. Just so you get a feel for the place.
Fudge, which is a latest craze in Sweden apparently. So this is the traditional one. I'm just going to give it a try.
See, that's really nice. You are so natural in front of camera, Ellie. There's a really good tone about you. Then you could have done, oh, let's see what this is. Or you just whiz through them all. but something to give you a real flavour. It just would have been a little bit jokey. What is that one? See, we don't know what that one is, but...
After spending the day trying new vegan creations and listening to vegan-inspired songs, I've come to the conclusion plant-based truly is the way forward. Ellie Clout, Winchester News Online.
So he plays to the camera, so it's all quite nice, really. So there's a really good flavour about that one, if that's not too much of a pun.
University lecturers across the country have gone out on strike.
Also, sorry, just to go back, yeah, your voiceover is strong. I mean, it's good presentation. Some of the sound you've got to be careful on, but you've chosen to be a real part of that story so that it works.
This week, the industrial action didn't affect Winchester, but staff at Southampton University did go out on the picket line. Our reporter, Marlon Ayling-Allen, went to find out more.
What do we want? Job security.
This week has seen universities...
Well done, getting them to do it for you. I know, look, they all hate the fact that they're having to sing and chant or whatever, do their little routine for you, but at least they did it.
Across the country facing strike action from lecturers over a number of issues, including pensions and workloads. The University of Southampton was one of them.
We are striking because we would like...
Sounds not great here.
Quality, we would like to kind of...
Must be camera mic.
We would like to ensure that we are working in a safe environment, that it's secure.
And some lecturers were going above and beyond to make their frustrations known.
And what I decided when we were on strike in 2018 over the pensions issue.
Again, I'm not quite sure why they're all so low, these interviewees. You've set your camera very, very low here, Marlon.
Is that essentially the employers were treating us with such contempt that I wasn't going to use my free time to backfill essentially a shortfall in staffing. And so I think since then I've been very militant about, I do my 8 hours and that's all you get, really.
The University of Winchester didn't get enough support to strike, but many were behind their neighbours at Southampton.
This is a tough time to be taking strike action. Our colleagues are giving up 8 days' pay ahead of Christmas, and that is tough. There'll be kids that are not getting their presents which they're expecting this Christmas because of the strike action that they're taking, and it's on our behalf. So I think we owe them a huge debt of gratitude for the picket lines that they're standing on today.
In response to the strike,
what you need to do here, Marlon, is actually explain the connection of what Simon is saying there, because this all came about through the intention to enforce redundancies at the University of Winchester. So we were the first, effectively, to suffer potential forced redundancies, and how this has been picked up by the rest of the country, and they're on strike. Ironically, when not even the University of Winchester is out on strike. So I think you need to explain the story and the influence, and what the influence that University of Winchester has had, and what Simon was trying to explain there.
A University of Southampton spokesperson said,
"Meeting our commitment."
See, this is fine. This is good, and getting somebody else to do it is great. It just needs. This is a time it needs to be mute. There's a hub. There's a burr underneath it. And you don't need it. This can be mute.
To our students, and providing every opportunity for them to achieve their potential is always our highest priority. We will work with our colleagues throughout the university to put in place the arrangements necessary to minimise any disadvantage to the students as a result of industrial action. Matters relating to pay awards and the USS pensions are discussed nationally, and such can only be resolved at a national level.
Yeah, it just needs to get rid of that hum underneath. And again, this is a very low camera level. Look, I suppose if you keep it the same for everybody, then it's fine, but it's just it's a bit of a strange angle.
Make sure that we get really good agreements coming, that we can all come together on, that we can provide good quality education for our students, and that this will be an end of it. We won't be in the same position a year from now, arguing about the same points again.
Good grabs. 3 really good grabs you've got in there, and also you've got the line from the university, so you've got balance there.
The strikes will now come to a conclusion this week. Marlon Ayling-Allen, Winchester News Online.
Yeah, it's good, Marlon. You know, you've thought about that and got a good range of shots, good range of interviews, and you've got balance as well.
One thing we know many people look forward to at Christmas is a little tipple. But what goes into making delicious wine? Cristiano Magalio reports.
Bubbly, champagne.
You see, again, I don't see the editorial on this, really. I find it quite difficult. And what I think you probably should have picked up on, and which would have worked with your veganism, is actually this business benefits from climate change. So on the one side, you've got the vegans going, right, don't eat meat, don't pollute the atmosphere, let's save our planet. And then on the other side, you've got the winos benefiting from warmer climates. So I think they're a natural juxtaposition and would have come in. I would have moved my veganism story below the university lecturers, and then I would have had Ellie's story and this one from Cristiano back to back.
And reds and whites.
I'm here at the Winchester.
Oh, I'm here. That must be number 1, 2, 3, 4. Or certainly number 3. No, I think it's 4.
To find out what goes into making a good glass of wine.
Good grape
Good grapes. Good gracious.
makes good wine.
A good wine is made from good grapes, so you've got to have good grapes to start with.
And what makes it so good?
The quality of the grapes.
So, it seems that quality grapes are very important for excellent wine. But I was interested to find out why English wines have been on the rise in recent years.
See, this is the story, I think.
So climate change is causing good English wine.
Yeah, because 40 years ago the weather wasn't warm enough to grow the grapes here, and the climate change is now warm enough to grow the grapes here.
There might be a little tiny bit to do with climate change, so we're getting a bit warmer. England's always been really on the margins of possibility when it comes to wine growing and making. So we're getting a tiny bit warmer, which helps. But also people have chosen to invest. It's really people having faith that it would work. And it does work. Good on them.
But with Christmas on the way, I wanted to find out what the best way to enjoy wine is.
What's your favourite way to enjoy wine?
With food. Always with food.
What is the best food to kind of eat with wine?
Cheese, without a doubt. All wine, for me, goes well with cheese. It's literally rhubarb and custard, it's peas and carrots, it's the great bedfellow.
Here, after a wine-filled day, I finally think I found the wine for me. Cristiano Magalio, Winchester News Online.
It's a nice little payoff. I just think we've missed what the story was. And I think you could have made it quite a strong story and worked with the veganism side by side.
With the countdown
That's the third time.
to Christmas now well underway.
Yeah, we've had a lot of
Winchester has been
Christmas
taken over
countdown
by
well
Santas
underway.
in a record-breaking fun run for Naomi House and Jack's Place. We sent our reporter Olivia Fraser to find out more.
The other one is we sent our reporter. Blah, blah, blah. We've got to try and find a different way, okay, of introducing. Nice start. They're all underway.
Have gathered here today at Winchester City Centre to take part in a local fun run and show support for Hampshire-based charity Naomi House and Jack's Place.
Look, that's nice, Olivia. And again, you've got, bright face. You've got a bit of energy about you. It's a good piece to camera. But everything's been said in the link into this package. And I think you could start your package on your next shot.
Sea of Santas
There.
kicked off December as adults and children prepared themselves to run in the 11th annual 5K early on Sunday morning.
That would have been a better start. The strange thing is now you go back to them not starting, not running.
The turnout for the event was outstanding, reaching a new record for the charity.
We're delighted that today is a record breaker for us. We've got 920 Santas, and just back there's a few more Santas signing up as we speak. So who knows where it will finish up, but it's a record, and we're absolutely over the moon.
Around £40,000 was raised for Naomi House and Jack's Place to support life-limited or threatened children and young adults. The event
Nice, just to break it up with a little bit of that.
also helped to spread Christmas cheer in the run-up to the big day.
So we run every year.
Good shots.
For the Winchester Centre
Good
and
vox
Naomi
pops.
House and
Jackson Place. It's the start of our official Christmas.
My husband sponsors me £50 for every event I do, and then I give some money as well.
Well, I thought it'd be a bit of fun doing something for our community.
It's a noise.
I love that one because he looks so unhappy and that he's not having fun.
To start Christmas, really, and I think I'm quite mad.
Santa
Well done for keeping the chuckle in.
triumphantly crossing the finish line in a blizzard of snow were rewarded with a mince pie and a medal for their efforts. Olivia Fraser, Winchester News Online.
I mean, the scripting's not too bad, so I just think you've got to think about the chronology of your piece, but there are some good faces, there are some good vox pops, there's a good atmosphere, it's a good local story.
After residents raised concerns about their homes and safety, a petition to turn Winchester streetlights back at night on has gained almost 500 signatures.
See, I think the line is a petition to get Winchester to turn its lights back on has gained however many signatures, and then go back to start telling the story. It's just hardening, just making it editorially stronger. And Natalie, for this has to be shot at dusk going into nighttime.
Natalie Jaksakova reports.
Hampshire County Council has decided to turn off street lighting in some.
Which is perfect what this one is, so that you should be shooting shot after shot after shot at dusk.
Residential areas. Although some agree with these
But then we go to these daytime shots.
changes, some residents have begun to feel at risk in their own homes.
I've started.
So we needed to start with that those dusky shots. A lot more of those.
Switch Winchester streetlights back on, and so far we've got 476 signatures. So recently my next door neighbour unfortunately had
Nice that the top of her has been covered. That's a soft edit. That's nice.
a theft of parts of his vehicle, and it's all due because the streetlights were off when it was really dark. So I think to the safety of the neighbourhood it needs to be switched back on. I think definitely you've
Bit of a clumsy edit there.
more vulnerable because you don't really know
See, more
who's
of these.
behind you or what could approach you technically. So I hope maybe every other streetlight could remain on, or they come to a compromise where we can have some lighting to keep the streets safe.
A 3-hour period hopes to result in a reduction of carbon emissions and financial savings. In a statement, the council said,
research and evidence.
Again, this is fine, but I think cut the noise underneath. What I also meant to say in the previous statement, this is what you need. I think, Marlon, it must have been yours from Southampton University. You need this. You need to accredit it to someone. So we've got Hampshire County Council here, and you should probably have Southampton University on that caption.
From other authorities was gathered to inform the decision to make the change. This showed there was no relationship between street lighting times and changes in crime patterns. We work closely with the police and actively review any arrangements.
I'm here
Hey, number 5.
on the road, which is just one of the streets that has been affected by the council's decision to turn the lights off.
You could just say, this street is one of that has been affected. That's all you need to say. You don't need to say, I'm here, because I can see you're there.
However, despite any concerns residents may have, the council have not yet agreed to turn the lights back on. Natalie Jaksakova, Winchester News Online.
And Natalie, I think this needed vox pops of people who were threatened, wanted them back on. That's where we really need a view on that story.
It was one of the most iconic protests of the year, bringing much of central London to a standstill.
Perfect example of a drop intro. This is good.
Our reporter Rebecca Bradley spoke to some of the Extinction Rebellion protesters to find out if they thought their actions had made any difference.
Okay, this is sort of an anytime piece, and I don't quite get it because I'm not sure there's any editorial value. That what is the peg to running this now?
Climate change has been the topic of the year. People are trying to get the attention of the government towards this crisis. But what does it really entail? Extinction Rebellion is a global environmental movement with the aim of using non-violent civil disobedience to compel government action to avoid tipping points in the climate system. However, the rebellious actions do cause some disruption, but the activists find it necessary.
Careful with these shots here, Rebecca. They are sort of sweeping and a little bit out of control.
The point is, we have to do some disruption to get people talking, and it is working clearly. You know, people are talking about the 60 countries are now, or more, are now involved in Extinction Rebellion protests because the future is at stake here. It's not a joke. And if you look at the back of my top, you'll see where I'm saying no laughing matter.
Whoever filmed that, well done for being able to work it out on the hoof and get that shot in. So well done for reacting.
Hear that the disruption is working for the activists. However, what are people's thoughts about their actions?
I think a disruption is necessary and for to save our planet.
I think it's stupid because it disrupts people's lives who probably have nothing to do with it, and overall it just does more harm than good to the community.
Well, it's a shame because disruption's, never a good thing. It's a shame people have to be inconvenienced, but it's for a good cause, really. And if that's the only way to get people in charge's attention, then yeah, it does have to be a good thing, I would say, overall.
These disruptions will only continue in the months to come as Extinction Rebellion plan more protests. Rebecca Bradley, Winchester News Online.
See, again, that shot's going off a little bit wildly. So you just got to be careful that you're not just spraying your camera all over the place. Look, if there was an event at the weekend, then let's peg it to that. Otherwise, I don't quite understand how it fits in, and then we make it relevant with a few vox pops in Winchester. So I think we just got to think a little bit more about what that story is all about.
The Christmas season is here, and Southampton have again opened their German Christmas market for the 5th year running. We sent our reporter Lexi to experience their festivities.
Really nice opening, Lexi.
It's that time of year again. Christmas is just around the corner, and the Christmas markets are bringing the festive spirit. The Southampton Christmas Market and Festival, with a German twist, is a major part of the city's Christmas events. There was lots of daily entertainment from local music.
Again, let's just be careful about spraying cameras around all over the place and just getting a few shots. Mix up the size of your shots. Don't need to be moving all the time. You can have static shots.
And other exciting acts throughout the day. And members
See, we've gone left to right to right to left to left to right.
Public were also enjoying the festivities.
Whoa, and we've just wandered back again. So just look at all these shots thinking, hang on, this is like a merry-go-round ride.
There's lots of different things for all ages, bars for adults, and obviously merry-go-rounds for children.
The market includes over 40 independent stallholders who offer a range of handmade authentic gifts, such as wooden toys, soaps, jewellery, and
whoa! And we've gone left to right, and now we're going right to left.
Christmas
and now we're going down to up.
Another exciting family-friendly attraction is the Flying Santa, who takes to the sky every evening with his reindeer over the market.
Your voiceover is actually very good, Lexi. You've got a really nice tone about you. Great voice. So well done on that score.
Merry Christmas.
Good bit of Nat Sod.
Celebrating 5 years of their German Christmas market, Southampton have totally slayed it again. Lexi Dutton.
Well, hey! Well, we'll let you get away with that as it's Christmas, but at least you've thought about it, and it's very nicely framed. So well done for getting in the chair with your reindeer hordes underneath. Well done.
And now, Winchester gets creative with light-up lanterns for the city's annual lantern parade. We sent our reporter
again,
Cara Simmons, to find out more about the colourful event.
More Nat Sot. Well done, everyone, for getting this. It all looks a bit samey, but at least you're trying something. You're getting a flavour of what is going on in all these packages.
With the lead up to Christmas well underway.
With the Cara. Let's get it. No one says with the, do they? Christmas is well underway. We've said that about 3 or 4 times. That's where we've all got to get together, and we've got to have strong editorialisation here about what goes into which piece. So we never say that. Just be more conversational.
Winchester is once again lit up with lanterns as families parade from the cathedral and through the streets.
Perhaps you walking through all the lanterns. That would be a nice piece to camera.
From stars to snow globes, everyone pulled out all the stops to create the brightest and biggest lanterns for the parade.
Well, it took us over a few days, so we made the base and then we kept it with tissue paper and then added glitter and lights.
That's my favourite Vox Pop of the whole programme. Really good.
With such a unique event at this time of year, the community and businesses were thrilled to come together to celebrate.
I think it's a lovely thing to get Christmas started off. I think for lots of people this is the beginning of their Christmas. It's such a big family event, and even if you can't get to make a lantern, just coming along and enjoying the atmosphere, the band, it's lovely.
After announcing the winners,
can we give a round of applause to them, please?
The evening ended with a sparkle and a bang. And along with the Christmas light switch on last week, you can truly say that Christmas has officially begun in the city.
Merry Christmas!
Cara Simmons.
Nice with the kids.
Winchester News Online.
So it's a good effort. I just think some of the shots, Cara, you could have been in with it, and a few more shots of the lanterns. But there's a mix, and you've tried, and you're telling a story. So from that point of view, that's fine. That's that very much is one of our round finalies. So well done, Emily, for reading that. Very good. You look good solid in front of camera. Very confident. My only issue is some of the clearly some of the links, and that's not all your fault because that's really hard. Anyway, that's very long. So have a good Christmas, everyone, and we will speak in the new year.